Hello, my name is Chester Henderson. I'm a student enrolled at Gupton Jones College of Mortuary Science in Atlanta, Georgia. This is my video submit for the SCI scholarship. In this video, I'll be answering 3 questions. Question 1. What do you feel are the most important issues or challenges facing the funeral service profession today, and why? Well, my simple answer is cremation, but especially direct cremation, because this presents about 3 different problems. First problem is lack of profit for the funeral home on these types of services. Since the funeral home is a business, it needs to make a profit in order to meet its financial obligations, such as mortgage, payroll, rolling stock, insurance, and all of the other miscellaneous items that go unnoticed but are necessary to run the business. The second is that direct cremation prevents the family, extended family, and the community from grieving and mourning the loss of that individual. The third issue is that of honoring the deceased. Direct cremation does not allow the family or the community an opportunity to honor the deceased. All the way back to Egyptian times, they buried individuals with personal possessions. Today we personalize caskets. All of these things have been done in an effort to honor the deceased. To that end, each funeral service is unique and normally reflects the identity or personality of the deceased. Question 2. How would you explain your role as a funeral director and the value of services you can provide to a family who is considering no services for the deceased? What can or will you do in terms of honoring the deceased that they cannot do on their own? We know the roles of funeral directors change according to the situation, and each family, funeral directors are managers, insurance agents, and counselors to families. Funeral directors have a great deal to offer families, especially those families considering no services for the deceased. Sometimes you have to educate the family as to what benefits may be available to them. For instance, the deceased who was a retired military veteran has benefits that the family may not be aware of, such as having military personnel present during the service to present the next of kin or the family with a flag. They also may be entitled to burial at a national cemetery at no cost to the family, saving them money. And lastly, they can even receive a signed commendation from the President of the United States. These are all ways funeral directors can facilitate honoring the deceased in ways that the family likely would not be able to do on their own. Question 3. Describe how you have demonstrated leadership ability in and out of school. How would that translate to your role as a funeral director? In school, I've demonstrated an ability and willingness to help others while taking in as much academic knowledge as possible. This has given me a big thrill because this, to me, reflects a true understanding of all materials presented in class. Out of class, I'm continuing to work as a volunteer coach at the high school where I graduated, coaching track. Since 1994, I've been doing this, and this gives me great pleasure because it allows me to give back to the community and influence the lives of some young men. As a coach, you are a teacher, an instructor, a disciplinarian, and oftentimes a counselor. These traits transfer very well to funeral service because as a funeral director, you are also a teacher, sometimes with families who are unaccustomed to what arrangements needs to be made for funeral services. When you're instructing, you're directing the funerals. Sometimes you have to be a disciplinarian with some families and maintain order. And all throughout, from the notification of death to the final disposition, you may have to fill the role of a counselor to families. All of these traits are necessary because we know as funeral directors, we spend the bulk of our time with the living, not just the dead.